According to Goldberg and Razowitz, during their study in preventative medicine, by 2030, an estimated 50% of Americans will become obese. As Adrian explained in his speech beforehand, obesity starts with children, but there's a simple solution to help reduce this obesity. By eating healthy, staying active, and understanding your body, we can significantly reduce these numbers. Teenagers should pay attention to their bodies and understand that obesity is a rising problem. And today we're going to focus on these three main points. Teenagers face high risks of obesity. How can teenagers avoid becoming obese? And by implementing a plan, teenagers can avoid obesity. So now that we understand how big of an issue it is in America, let's talk about why this is happening. According to Rolls and her work with Nutrition Today, the available data suggests that large portions of energy dense food are contributing to the obesity epidemic. Portion sizes of fast food are large and typically have a high intake of fat and energy. So, continuing with Rolls' research, 78% thought it did not matter the amount of food you eat, but the type of food you eat. 62% were unaware of the increase in portion sizes in fast food in the last 10 years, and 67% always finish the food on their plate. Fast food is one of the main reasons for obesity in teenagers. You're 16, you're getting your car and your freedom, and that's what you want to do. You want to go to water, or you want to go eat out. And for example, my town, we always went to Whataburger. After a football game or any major event, that's where we congregated, was at Whataburger. And it was typically late at night, so it's harder for your body to digest because you weren't staying as active. Academic pressures can also cause obesity. If you're not doing good academically, this can cause you to binge eat, which is an eating disorder, which basically means you'll overeat because you feel uncomfortable with the situation you're in. And if you are becoming obese, this might actually have problems with yourself, make you have problems with your self-esteem, which can make your grades lower even more. So now that we understand how teens can get obesity, let's talk about how to avoid obesity. So, how can teenagers become obese? Avoid becoming obese. By participating in a family meal 2 to 3 times a week, this can reduce obesity. From sitting down and eating with your family, you can learn healthy eating habits and associate a good time with your family with the healthy eating habits, which can help contribute to later years when you're thinking back to your family times about the food that you ate. This can also help with bonding with your family, which can make you happier, which can make binge eating significantly lower. And this could also help with the security of making wise choices. Personalizing your portions can also be something that you can work on. So if you do engage in eating a fast food meal or going out to dinner and it's not exactly a healthy choice, you can cut that meal in half and take half of it home for the next day or whatever works best for you. And that's cutting the amount of high intake of fat and energy in half and making it to where it's split up so your body can digest it and get the nutrients it needs. A healthy meal typically includes proteins, vegetables, and fruits. So make sure that you're adding those in. And if you split up your meals into 4 to 5 small meals a day instead of one large meal, your body can digest that a lot better. And teenagers typically tend to skip breakfast because we always want to sleep in or we just don't eat breakfast. And your metabolism doesn't start until you start eating. So if you don't skip breakfast, that can help with your obesity becoming lower. So now that we understand how to avoid obesity, let's talk about a plan we can make to stay healthy. By staying active and cutting down your screen time, this can also help in aiding not becoming obese. They say that 60 minutes of physical activity a day can actually help with reducing obesity. So this can just be by walking somewhere or taking the stairs instead of riding the elevator. It's the small changes that count. And also, implementing only 2 hours of screen time a day can also help with the reduction of obesity. According to Stewart and Gangdom in their study on managing and preventing obesity in teenagers, your body mass index, or your BMI, is the most adequate proxy for measurement for your body fat to define and diagnose obesity and overweight in children and adolescents. So your BMI is your height, is designed by your height, your weight, and your sex. So typically, if your BMI is 30 or over, then you're considered to be obese. but a good healthy BMI for a teenager would be 18.5 to 24.9. So now that we understand the daily things we can do to ensure that you are staying healthy, let's review what we've talked about. Obesity is an issue that's not going away on its own, and we need to implement these topics that we talked about to make sure that those numbers are going to go down. Teenagers should pay attention to their body and understand that obesity is a rising problem. And teenagers are facing high risks of obesity. So we need to understand how that's happening, how to fix it, and what daily changes we can make to make sure that these numbers are going down. We have a fighting chance to reduce these numbers. All we have to do is take charge. Thank you.